eyes of people. It's there's so much that to what bullying, what engenders bullying in our education through television, through example by our politicians, through example by our parents, through example by our teachers.
Media.
I've seen teachers bully students. I've seen it where they literally. I thought if you ever spoke to one of my children like that, I'd be up in arms about it. And so, but I'm impressed. I've been in the school system for a few years, and I've studied education, and I'm very impressed with the efforts and by the multifaceted approach by teachers and schools to bullying. And I think it's a perpetual effort. I don't think in 10 years we'll have solved it, but we can constantly improve it through education and discussion and intelligent approaches. And I'm not sure, the legislation, I congratulate you for another effort, but when you write things into rules and laws and say this is what's going to happen, and if you're not doing that, then I ask you what's the point?
Okay,
because that's what legislation is for.
I want to jump in because I want to wrap up the panel, but I want to hear from the minister again. If we assume that unlimited funding would allow us to deal with all aspects of the problem and take care of them, do we have to accept the fact that budgetary reality in this province might be compromising our ability to deal with the problem as much as we'd like?
I think money is always an issue. It isn't the only issue. And I say that as, we added 60 resource teachers while I was there to help kids who are struggling, and had three of the four largest increases in the education budget in the last 10 years, and literacy rates went up by record levels. So I think funding is part of it, and I think we've always worked in good faith to do that. I would also, though, say I know of no way to tackle, whether it was literacy or others, to tackle a complex issue in schools than assembling the professionals Jack's talked about. Roger's, he's kind of the perfect NDP. He says, well, summit isn't the solution, a bill isn't the solution. What's the solution?
No.
Well, I don't know, but we won't see it.
It's a question of priority.
Right, and I think what we've got to do...
Public money is not to
what we have
bail
to
out
do,
a financial
with respect,
institution or
let me finish, please.
Okay,
and then you can
it's
go.
A question of
Don't
priority.
shut me down,
okay,
please.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. I do think probably I think the right first step is getting teachers and students who say they weren't consulted here, they want to be consulted more, and see if we can find a solution. In an election year, it's easy to say it's a gimmick, and I think the proof will be in June. Do we get solutions or not out of assembling the right professionals who are saying, not this bill, but let us find some solutions?
Okay, you were saying, Mr.
It's a question of
priorities.
priority. It's, I think, for a government, is it AdCon is the priority? 50 millions? I think that 50 million should be better used in our education system in New Brunswick, or to take tens of $millions and to bail out.
Roger, let's not go back there.
No,
well,
but
let him finish
we
his
almost
point.
made
Let
it
him
without
finish
politics.
his point.
everything is connected, and I think
Yeah.
we should not. Money should be there for our public education system in New Brunswick.
Yeah. Look, one of the refreshing things about this debate is finally we're talking about some other issues. I hate to say it, MB Power hijacked this issue in this legislature for so long that we're finally, it almost feels like we've got a monkey off our back and we're able to start talking about some healthy issues again. So let's not attach it to those other issues, which we'll get plenty of airtime for. This is a real issue. The question is at what level is it best handled? And I'm not certain of that. If legislation was a partial solution, I would be right down on the legislature saying let's go on. It's another way of doing it. And maybe because the legislature's brought forward, Jody, we're here talking about it. If he didn't do it, we wouldn't be talking about it. So in that sense, we're moving along with the issue. But now we're forced to ask ourselves, unfortunately, there isn't enough time in this sitting to deal with it, and that's really the issue.
That's unfortunate.
How do we get a real healthy
let me ask
debate?
The minister.
Exactly.
So you obviously are committed to the subject. You're committed to finding a solution that benefits all of the children. Why then shut the legislature down before you've reached it?
I guess to say you need the legislature would presume you need legislation. And when we did the round of consultation on this, there were reasons why principals and teachers groups who weren't consulted on this bill I remember I sat with them and they said, look, if you put it in the Act, there's two reasons. One, things that are in statutes become provincial offenses and can actually wind up in court.
Okay.
And some of the points Jack made, they said, we're not convinced legislation. Bullying's already against the rules. Nobody thinks bullying is allowed. So if it's a breakdown, it's not a lack of banning bullying. It's not for that. It's other things. So I think while I think good people can disagree on the issue around the legislature, I think the question, why not do it in the legislature? Well, that's only relevant if you assume legislation's the only answer. And I actually think meeting people who aren't politicians on this issue might also help.
Yeah,
okay, Joni Carr, last word to you.
Very quickly, then, the opposition has clearly said this isn't the only option. And also, we've heard from a number of parents and students that want to be acknowledged, that want to make sure that this issue isn't being turned, their backs aren't being turned to this issue, that it is acknowledged, that it is taken serious. If this bill has been allowed to raise the awareness and bring forward a summit and bring real action, the opposition under David Alward, we will be there to support any initiative to keep putting forward the solutions. And as a new government, we would be pleased to look at a piece of legislation that will help in a comprehensive package.
So would we.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. Thank you,
And I'm assuming,
Thank you,
I'm
Roger.
assuming you would.
I think all of us want to find solutions.
Everybody
And it's
does.
been a
Of
pretty
course we
civil
do.
discussion
yeah,
today.
Everybody does.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.